You've
Yep.
always been a guy who felt Jay Gruden's practices are too easy. You don't like ping pong tables in practice. You talk about Club J, so I know you weren't surprised. What do you
Right.
make of this? Because he then followed up by saying it's not the coaches, it's the players.
Yeah, and I heard about what he said, or I guess how he followed up, and of course, my first reaction was, well, I didn't say it was just about Jay Gruden or just about the coaches. As a matter of fact, on Monday, I said, look, this is an indictment on everyone. This is an indictment on the coaches who aren't tough enough. This is an indictment on the players who are soft, in my opinion, and have always been soft, and an indictment on the organization who basically roll out the red carpet for a bunch of players who don't really ultimately get the job done when they absolutely need to get the job done year in, year out, no matter who the cast of characters are. So the bottom line is he can say whatever he wants. It wasn't about the coach. I don't care who it was about. The point of the matter is, and maybe I'm wrong, guys, you tell me, the point of the matter is this is a huge indictment on the culture of this organization. This team has not won enough games to be country club soft, to be, again, what I proverbially could call Club J, easy, soft, player-friendly, not having your hair on fire. Get with it. And the point that I would say is if you guys weren't kicking ass in the ratings every morning, right, and if you guys weren't the legendary team that you were, CK would probably be a lot tougher on you guys, right?
Keep saying it. Keep saying that stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, if you guys weren't kicking ass, right, CK would probably have to be a lot tougher on you guys. He would probably have, a lot more urgency to fix whatever he perceived to be the problem. Well, guess what? The Redskins aren't the junkies, okay? They are not the junkies, if we're using that comparative analogy. So the bottom line is you can't be easy. You can't be soft when the Redskins, as a football organization, are nowhere near the junkies. So that's my point.
How are they soft, though? I remember the ping pong table argument, but give me some of your examples of how you think this team is soft. I'd just love to hear it.
All right, so just from a big picture standpoint, I mean, obviously the results are what the results are. They often look not engaged, ready to go. I'll just give you, again, from a football perspective, the first drive last Thursday on Thanksgiving, I know it's a short week, I got it, but they're getting killed by third-string tight ends. They're out of gaps. They're blowing assignments. I mean, there was all sorts of issues just on that first drive where the Cowboys go through them like a hot knife through butter. Now, that's a football perspective, okay? I understand the opponent gets paid, and I get what the goal of the game is. But just from a big picture, from a culture standpoint, obviously the ping pong table, yes, that is one thing for me. But, over my years at Redskins, I mean, I've seen them, again, just hold doors open nonstop for these guys. Oh, my God, they can't, they can't be touched. They can't actually carry their own luggage off the plane or anything like that. Everything they do at that building is built to make the players' lives easier and more friendly. And my point is, maybe that stuff doesn't matter in a big picture sense in Seattle or New England or whatever, but when you're not winning enough games, when you're not doing your job ultimately the way you have to do it, and whatever your profession is, then you have to, as a boss, or have to, as a organization or employees, do things differently. And it's not working. I get being player-friendly. I understand that's where the league is nowadays. It's not working. They don't have enough talent, and the culture is too soft, too easy. It's not working. There has to be a greater sense of urgency.
Well, Chris, you point to some of these specifics, and to be honest, I think some of them are silly, but I think what you could say is there are many times when they come off a big win and a surprising win, and then they face an inferior opponent the following week, and they don't really show up. And it happens too often that you would think that tends to be lax.
Sure. Well, yes, obviously, yes. That is another example of what we've, I guess, of what I've been critical of. I think everyone else has been critical of. But I mean, that didn't happen this week, right? You would have thought they would have had a greater sense of urgency Thursday because they lost against Houston and lost their quarterback, and everybody was kind of basically saying, oh, they're done. And what happens? They come out, and again, the knife goes through them.
So you think this? So you think this starts with Jay?
I think it starts. I think Jay's a big part of it. I don't know if it starts with Jay. I think the culture that has been installed year after year, and to me it starts with Bruce and Dan. Dan, as we know, has been a player-friendly owner at times with big star athletes. I think they don't want to crack the whip. I think they don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I think they want to embrace where the NFL is mostly heading in terms of a player-friendly league. I get it. But I guess my point is you can do things differently without being a jerk. I can get you, I think, to have a greater sense of urgency, to play a little bit more with your hair on fire without being an ass about it, quite honestly. And I think that's what DJ is talking about here, guys. If we think about it, right, again, he said, well, Saturday walkthroughs. People might laugh and dismiss that and go, it's just a Saturday walkthrough. Who cares? Whatever. I would be tapped out, too, comparing their normal lives on a Friday. Well, guess what? He's also saying Friday is a spot where they're tapped out, and they're laughing, and they're joking, and they're not taking it seriously. Well, if you only have 3 main practices in the week, and Wednesday half the damn team is in the tub and on the trainer's table and not able to practice, what are we talking about here, guys? Thursday has always been the main practice. I get it. I understand that. But we're talking about Friday and Saturday if DJ Swearinger is to be taken seriously, and I don't know why he would lie about this.
Right, it's
like
lack of attention to
has
detail.
No motivation to lie.
Lack of attention to detail, lack of intensity.
And he's saying it week in, week out. Which,
yes.
But you know what cures it all, Chris? Winning. So let's see if they win a division.
All right, Chris.
But you know what? He was saying this when they were winning, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, to be fair, we can go on and on forever. I know you guys got. He was saying this when they were winning. I know he says it mostly when they lose. I get it. But he was saying it when they were a winning team, and they are still record-wise a winning team and still technically in first place. That, to me, is a greater indictment on everyone, players, coaches, administration, everyone. It's too soft at that location. It is too soft, period.